welcome to Markets Today with me, Luqman Hariz. Today, the FBM KLCI closed 0.8 points lower to end at 1758.15 points. And the ringgit closed at 4.233 against the US dollar. We start off with the business brief for today's episode. Foreign investors continue to sell in the Bursa Malaysia. According to MIDF research, foreign investors offloaded 967.3 million ringgit net in the open market last week, excluding off-market deals. This is compared to 477.7 million ringgit the week before. This follows a similar trend in regional bourses where seven Asian exchanges saw $2.6 billion net being sold by foreigners. The 4.56% stake in CIMB Group that was offloaded by Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group or MUFG has been absorbed by institutional investors. This was confirmed by CIMB Chief Executive and Executive Director Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Aziz, who says they include EPF and PNB as well as international investors. MUFJ has had a stake in CIMB since 2007. Petronas Chemicals has sold a 50% stake in its unit PRPC Polymers in Berhad to Saudi Aramco for $900 million. PRPC Polymers develops, constructs, commissions and operates polymers and glycol plants for the production and sale of products. Petchem says by sharing the project, it will also share the operational risks with Saudi Aramco. And the banking industry's loan growth has increased slightly from 5.6% year-on-year as at end July 2017 to 5.8% as at end August. According to CIMB Equities research, this was driven by the business loan segment, which grew 7.2% year-on-year in August compared to 6.7% in July. However, CIMB expects full-year loan growth to trend lower this year, largely because of last year's high base. Recently, we've been hearing more and more about cryptocurrencies. What started with Bitcoin in 2009 has become an industry of its own, as more and more entrepreneurs look towards it for funding, foregoing traditional channels like banks. But because cryptocurrencies are unregulated, they've come under criticism and scrutiny by numerous institutions. But one thing that everyone can agree on is that they can no longer be ignored. Because today, the cryptocurrency industry has total assets amounting to 120 billion US dollars, with Bitcoin alone soaring more than 200% this year. And joining me on the line right now to talk about this more is Jameel Ahmad, FXTM VP of Market Research. Jameel, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, let's start with that rally, that amazing rally of Bitcoin, 200% since early this year. Where does that leave us and what has happened so far in terms of cryptocurrencies?
The rally in Bitcoin, not just this year, but over the summer months since the beginning of August, has been spectacular. Bitcoin rallied over 200% just that month alone and is up significantly throughout 2017. So basically what we saw was during the peak of the emergence of new geopolitical tensions between the United States and North Korea, there was a surge of demand for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously has become the most well-known cryptocurrency out there, but there seem to be hundreds since its initial offering at the end of the last decade. Now, we saw huge rallies in Bitcoin, and we've seen massive swings in price action since, both to the upside and to the downside. So everybody's talking about Bitcoin, but before anybody invests in this asset or this instrument, it's important to note, like you pointed out, that there are still question marks over regulation, and this is an asset that's very volatile to violent swings. So any trader must be educated and know the risks before investing in any instrument.
Why are a lot of quarters still skeptical about Bitcoin?
They are, and one of the reasons why that you pointed out is due to the regulations. There's still a lack of framework on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. I think on why some are skeptical is that they believe that this rally is unsustainable, and this price action, it's becoming very common to see Bitcoin swing by 20%, 30% on a near daily basis, and it's continuously in the headlines either going up or going down. It's an unconventional instrument, and It's quite unclear how different authorities and central banks actually view Bitcoin. We've had some contrasting statements, such as in People's Bank of China. In China, it's seen as an instrument that's going to be banned, and this sentiment is spread elsewhere, whereas other central banks seem to be embracing this cryptocurrency craze, such as Japan, who recently announced that it would issue its own cryptocurrency.
Right. Thank you so much, Jameel Ahmad, FXTM VP of Market Research, for talking to us about cryptocurrencies. Market Studio will take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Markets Today with me, Luqman Hariz. The downturn in the oil and gas industry caused by depressed prices has hit Miri quite hard. The confidence and vibrancy of this one-time Malaysian Klondike is no longer evident ever since crude prices spiraled southwards.
However, this depression has not deterred Serba Dynamic, which operates a facility called the Miri Service Centre, MSC. We visited this engineering facility located at Kuala Baram to find business and technical activities taking place at the workshop. With the existence of the MSC, Serba Dynamic is able to carry out projects that demand bigger handling capacity. Miri offers fabrication facilities, machine shop, blasting and painting, as well as a big laydown area for material storage of structural steel and piping. Further, Miri is able to carry out minor fabrication for small-sized jackets. MSC Operations Manager Setli Bilong remembers the town was a hive of activity way back in 2013 when the workshop facility service was set up.
So, aktiviti yang kita lakukan di sini adalah piping, fabrication piping sama structure, di mana aktiviti kita ini banyak support oil and gas punya kerja. Kita mula beroperasi 2013. Tahun 2013 di mana kerja kita banyak kepada melibatkan industri oil and gas. We call it rotating equipment maintenance.
One important element of the work done in Miri is the inspection of fuel safety valves. Workshop manager Muhammad Zakri Norman Zainul Abidin and his trained team ensures contaminants are removed to ensure full functional capacity. The work is carried out diligently without distraction from the technicians confined to a cordon cage.
Adalah dinamakan test bane untuk menguji pressure safety valve, iaitu lebih dikenali dengan pressure safety valve. Dan ia mempunyai 3 komponen. Satu dia grip, kedua panel, dan ketiga adalah sistem berkomputer.
This ability to offer precise pressure tests puts Serba Dynamic one notch above its competitors who now face the challenge of becoming relevant in a sea of competition.
Oil is etched in the history of Miri, when black gold gushed from this very spot back in 1910. But then, when the downturn came in 2014, all that history is no more. What is left now is for Serba Dynamic to turn on a new page in history and build on the legacy left by the grand old lady.
And joining me to discuss this more is Abdul Kadir Sahib, Director of Serba Dynamic Holdings Berhad. Abdul Kadir, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's interesting that one of our editors mentioned in the VT just now that it's time for Serba Dynamic to turn a new leaf. And can you just share with us how important is Miri for Serba Dynamic to do that and for future developments for the company?
Okay, as we all know, Miri is where oil was first found, and it has always played an important role in the development of oil in Malaysia. And we look at Miri having very sophisticated oil industry where they have plenty of good and skilled workforce. And as you know, the aim of Serba Dynamic is to be among the preferred option as service provider. And as Miri was always relevant in oil production, we decided to take a very viable step to set up this service center in Miri. And we are very confident that after having used Miri to support Bintulu, where we successfully finished our largest fabrication contract of about 30 million ringgit in Semelaju, it was fully supported by the workshop in Miri. So with such a very sophisticated workshop and very skillful people there, we feel that Miri will always be a very important sector for our business.
Well, how has the downturn in oil prices for the past few years affected your priorities or your business plans that you had for Miri?
Well, we are basically providing the maintenance service. So we do not depend so much on capped investment, but more on maintenance. So as far as our business is concerned, there is a very, very little negative impact for our business in Miri.
What does the future hold, Kadir, for Serba Dynamic? Are you there, Kadir?
Yes.
Sorry, can I repeat my question? What can we expect from Serba Dynamic in the future?
Well, we are having a very positive outlook, and we feel that the business is good for us and will be very, very bullish with sustainable plans we have put in motion. We are now looking forward to some of the plans that were put up in Rapid that will be completed very soon. Upon their completion, we will have got more and more business. And being a local company established in Sarawak, we are looking forward to get positive business from Petros, which is the state petroleum company.
All right. Thank you so much, Abdul Qadir Sahib, Director of Serba Dynamic Holdings Berhad. And that's it for this episode of Markets Today. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 501 Awani. Download our app as you can see, available on Google Play and also the Apple App Store. Luqman Hariz, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.